Hi all, welcome everyone for this 3AI Spectra second edition, the largest virtual summit in India powered by 3AI. Our theme this year is AI Unbound and Infinite Possibilities. This couldn't be more timely as we witness exponential rise of Gen AI reshaping our business models, workflows, and the industries at large. It's my honor to moderate this session titled Decoding Gen AI Delivery Implementation and Framework, the New Approach, where we will explore how enterprises can transform from Gen AI hype to scalable and responsible value delivery. We are joined by four outstanding leaders who are pushing the boundaries and building real world Gen AI solutions across industries. As Gen AI rapidly transitions from experimentation to enterprise adoption, organizations are asking, how do we structure our delivery frameworks for agility and safety? What operating models and teams are required to scale Gen AI responsibly? And how do we ensure governance, business alignment, and value realization at every step of this journey? This panel will help us to decode that journey from strategy to the stack and pilots to the production with real world stories and proven business models. Let's begin the panel discussion. Ramana, let's start with you. As someone who is deeply embedded in building enterprise scale Gen AI capabilities, what does a good Gen AI deployment framework look like? And how does it differ from traditional AI delivery models?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hi, everyone. So I'll try to address a critical strategic question. What constitutes a robust Gen AI deployment framework that delivers sustainable business value? McKinsey analysis reveals that 78% of the AI initiatives fail to reach the production scale deployment, not due to model capabilities, but because of the inadequate deployment architectures. Organizations that master deployment framework achieve 3.5x faster time to market and 65% lower operating costs and 89% higher adoption rates. The difference between is the successful and failed implementation isn't the choice of foundation model, but it's the sophistication of the underlying deployment framework. Today, I'll try to outline the essential components that separate the enterprise grade AI systems from full proof of concept demonstrations. Now, I would like to discuss about 5 critical framework pillars. A production-ready Gen AI deployment framework rests on 5 fundamental architecture pillars that address critical enterprise requirements. Pillar number 1, the intelligent model management. This foundation manages the entire model lifecycle with automated deployment pipelines and intelligent orchestration. The system automatically routes simple queries to lightweight models, which directly complex issues to sophisticated models, reducing cost by 40 to 60% while maintaining quality. Goldman Sachs implemented model orchestration with trading algorithms, achieving 23% efficiency improvement while reducing the deployment time from weeks to hours. The key is treating models as managed assets rather than static tools. Now, pillar number 2, advanced context management. Unlike simple chatbots, the enterprise frameworks maintain context across interactions and learn from the conversational patterns. This transforms AI from reactive tools into proactive business partners that remember users while preferences and adopt responses based on the historical success rates. For legal document reviews, systems automatically apply learned patterns to new documents, reducing the review time by 45% while improving the accuracy. The framework becomes more valuable over time without manual configuration. Now, what is pillar number 3? Integrated safety and governance. This pillar embeds compliance and safety directly into the AI processing pipeline with multi-layered content validation, bias detection, and comprehensive audit trails. For example, if you take JP Morgan's compliance integrated framework, it achieved 99.7 regulatory adherence while reducing the compliance review by 73%. Now, the government's framework includes explainability engines that provide the clear reasoning paths for AI decisions, essential for regulated industries' high-stake business applications. Now, fill in number 4, dynamic performance optimization. This addresses economic sustainability through intelligent resource management and predictive scaling. Advanced framework reduce operational expense by 50 to 70% through request batching, semantic caching, and adaptive model selection based on real-time requirements. Now, for example, if you take Microsoft Global AI Framework process, it processes over 2 billion requests daily while maintaining sub 200 millisecond response time across 6 continents to intelligent optimization. Now, fill in M5. Comprehensive monitoring and intelligence. This provides visible across technical, business, and user experience dimensions. Modern monitoring uses AI to monitor, AI automatically detecting performance degradations and predicting failures before the impact users, right? Now, if you take the enterprise integration deployment strategy beyond core architecture, several frameworks require sophistication, integrated, and deployment strategies. Modern frameworks operate as integrated ecosystem components, responding to business events in real time. This enables invisible AI, the intelligence that enhances the process without requiring any interfaces. The integration includes intelligent API management with adequate security policies, zero trust architecture, seamless data pipeline integration that works with existing infrastructure without requiring wholesale changes. Now, if you take the if let us look into something else now, how the business value and strategic positioning takes place. Effective frameworks implement comprehensive measurement systems, demonstrating the clear business value, enabling continuous optimization. For example, if we take multi-dimensional performance tracking, frameworks track our critical dimensions, technical performance, business impact, user experience, and operational efficiency. Leading organizations establish baselines before deployment and track improvement trajectories, typically showing 35 to 50% operational efficiency improvement within 6 months. Now, there is one more thing which is very important for the framework to be very successful is the continuous learning and optimization. Modern frameworks implement the self-improving system that automatically identifies optimization opportunities through A/B testing, performance benchmarking, automated parameter tuning. This creates virtuous cycle where systems become more valuable over time and manual optimization. Another thing that requires the future-proofing architecture. Successful frameworks avoid vendor lock-in through modular architecture, enabling 60% faster adoption of a new capabilities. Now, to conclude, production-ready GenAI framework requires 5 critical pillars: intelligent model orchestration, advanced content management, integrated safety governance, dynamic performance, optimization, and comprehensive monitoring results. There are many tools that people use for the framework. Like you can use AWS Bedrock, then Google's Vertex AI, then people use Prefect, people use DYFI, and so on and so forth. And always the organization invest in robust frameworks now will achieve significant competitive advantages as capabilities advance.
Brilliant. That's fantastic, Ramana. That's a very, very comprehensive and a detailed 5-pillar framework. Uh, just quickly, I want to, touch upon one more quick question, if you can let me know, in terms of how are you building or restructuring your teams for GenAI, and are there any new roles and skills you are prioritizing at this point of time?
Right. Research shows that 70% of the AI project failure because of the team and inadequate team structures, right? As we move through from the data science to AI to an implementation of Gen AI and so forth, it is not the technology limitations that matters, it is the team inequities that matters, right? Organizations that successfully restructure report 4x faster implementation and 60% higher success rates. Gen AI requires fundamentally different team compositions than traditional software development, right? We are implementing a hub and spoke model balancing centralized expertise with distribution execution. Now, for example, you can take Central AI Excellence Hub. Our core hub has four key roles: AI solution architects who design enterprise AI systems and establish technical standards, AI governance specialists ensure compliance and ethical deployment, data science leaders focus on the model optimization and performance analytics, and DevOps engineers manage AI infrastructure and deployment pipelines. Then we talk about something about distributed domain teams. Each business unit maintains an AI-enabled specialist who understand their domain, AI capabilities, right? They understand the entire business properly. They aren't full-time AI roles, but business experts trained in AI utilization. The target ratio is one hub member supporting 8 to 10 domain specialists across business functions, creating scalable experience expertise without requiring universal AI expertise. Now,
Brilliant.
another thing that we often use is the skill development strategy. We are implementing a three-tier approach rather than wholesale hiring. Upskill the existing talents, strategic new hires, and cross-functional integration. So current engineers transition through structured AI training programs. It has actually yielded 85% retention and faster development than the entirely hiring external hiring. This actually helps the organization, to actually funnel the existing resources, funnel the existing talent into the newer opportunities where everybody are liking it. Then
Fantastic.
then
Fantastic.
coming about the strategic new hires, selecting hires for roles that don't exist internally. We always trying to train people and bring them up to the new roles. If it is not available, then only then we go out and then hire this strategy new
That's
hires.
very, very interesting, Ramana. Very, very interesting. That's the kind of an approach which would be encouraging for organizations as well as for the
Right.
professionals, where the internal skills that are already available, the expertise that comes on the table is adequately trained and
Correct.
used or reused and progressed well. Thank you
True.
so
True.
much, Ramana, for this insight. That's very, very, very critical because the talent or capability management is very, very important to sustain a Gen AI adoption as well as scale it. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ramana. And I'll come back to you on the second round. Uh, while we are talking about capabilities and talent, what is important is in terms of looking at operating models, right? Kapil, I would like to invite you to share your experience with moving AI from ideation to industrialization, which is extensive at this point of time, and getting tactical into the nuts and bolts. How should companies structure the transition from pilot to production in Gen AI programs?
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very timely and critical question. I should say that. We've been working a lot with clients and mainly so in insurance. That's where I focus right now. So I can share some of my experience with the panel and with our viewers here. So I think the way I'm seeing this unfold right now is that most of our clients they are having this question as to how they should structure internally, and our advice to them is have a very clear delineation between your discovery and your execution arm. And the reason I say that is because this kind of skill sets that are needed, right, to do the discovery and to execute are somewhat different. So let me elaborate what I mean by that. Now, discovery is a phase where you're trying to anchor the business problem. You're trying to work with your business stakeholders, trying to understand their needs, their KPIs, and then you're sort of anchoring a problem for analytics or for AI or Gen AI, right? So one is the discovery team, and then the second team here is more on the execution focus team. So it could be a center of excellence, which is very much focused on some of the things that Ramana spoke about, the governance framework, the execution piece, what kind of techniques you bring in, what kind of architecture you bring in for execution, right? Now, to give this a little bit more structure, what we have been telling our clients is to take a five-stage approach to conceptualize and put GenAI use cases in production. The first part of it is discovery. So we already spoke about it. And in discovery, it's very important to identify the right stakeholders. So if you're working with sales, marketing, operations, bring them together and try to have a session with them to understand how a day looks like in their day-to-day life and what kind of decisions they want to make with the help of GenAI. And I'll take an example here of, let's say, the problem statement is around building an agent which can contextually navigate your database and give the right answers to your business users, right? So that the most natural use case for GenAI these days is about uh, converting the text or a natural language to a query and then sort of giving the right matrix operations views, right, to your business stakeholders. So that's the most fundamental thing. Do you frame the problem correctly, right? After that, it all depends on how do you sort of coordinate with your execution arm to create that first proof of value. Now, I'm not using the term POC here because when you're doing the discovery, the stakeholders they already expect that you show them what is the art of possible, and you have to go with some kind of a proof of concept already to sort of pique their interest. So the next stage is really right to sort of go back with the proof of value, which means creating some sort of a prototype, which sort of helps them play with that prototype and see whether it's sort of really alleviating any pain in their life or it's sort of augmenting their decision making, right? And here again, the people who are from the discovery side or people who are could be like having like uh, mixed kind of a background. I think McKinsey calls them analytics translators. I think the new term I can come up with is Gen AI translators. So these guys will come and really understand whether that prototype is working out for their audience and whether it's really helping them in their day-to-day decision making. So we'll collect a lot of feedback from the proof of value, and then the goal is really to now get into the next stage, which is piloting. So once you have that initial feedback, once you know how your system is scaling for a particular group of end users, on the piloting stage, you really want to see how your features are scaling to your audience, right? And I think one thing that I've noticed during the piloting stage is the UI component really becomes really critical. So very simple features can make a huge difference, right? How you present your information, is it in a chart? Because I took the example of an agent which can give you the information from database. I'm going to more stick to that example. So the UI features in the sense, right? Simple things like a download feature button on your UI that could be really useful for you to download the information that you got from your database or from your knowledge base, right? Similarly, some of the things that really become critical in piloting is removing hallucinations. If you're not getting a desired response, again, taking a lot of feedback from your end customers. I think after piloting, what really becomes critical is establishing the right governance. Obviously, this comes when your pilot is a success. And again, previous speakers spoke a lot about governance issues, right? And governance to me really is more for meeting both uh, compliance as well as to mitigate technical risk, putting the right guardrails, making sure data security breaches are not there. Uh, to that extent, centralizing some level of access and access control, and even talking about audit trail. I think that is becoming very critical these days from a compliance regulatory standpoint. So how do you put in those lineage, what data was used to train what model, and I'm bringing some explainability into your outcomes, etc., right? So I think governance that from that angle really becomes very, very critical in my view.
Interesting, interesting. And when you're talking about it, very, very pertinent aspect that we normally look at is in terms of the common mistakes or the pitfalls organizations that run in this particular case. Would you like to touch upon that?
Sure, absolutely. I think with the whole Gen AI hype, what I've seen is people tend to bank they bank upon the LLMs a lot, right? They assume that LLM is like a sort of a magic bullet to everything. And I would sort of try to break that myth and say that, there's a lot more engineering which goes beyond just writing prompts, because you're trying to build a system which will scale in production, right? Which means you got to think about other aspects like, very simple things like multi-user functionality, or how would you remove hallucinations, and the scale of the problem also changes. One simple example, right? When you're doing piloting, probably you're just looking at three tables in a database, right, to do the querying. But as you sort of, let's say, go multi-user, right, or you go to multiple personas, the table could blow up to, let's say, 13, 15 tables. And then the real issues come with, latencies, doing dynamic joins, etc., which are very, very, you know uh, details which sort of manifest them as you go into production, right? So that's number one. You can't just say LLM is my answer or prompt engineering is my answer to all my problems, right? Um, I think the second biggest part, and I think I touched upon it lightly, is not to underestimate the importance of UI. How does the UI play out when your users are interacting with it, right? Is it intuitive? Is it solving their need, right? And simple features like, I gave an example of download button, but even prompting questions. What could be a follow-up question to what they're asking? That could really, augment the nature of the insights that the user can really generate, right? And the last part I would say is selecting the right LLM stack is really critical. Something which is aligned to your business needs, something which doesn't, you don't over engineer, at the same time you're cost effective and cost efficient, right? So I think, I mean, there are so many stacks out there, and I feel that selecting the right stack which sort of suits your business needs is absolutely critical.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you have touched a very, very pertinent point with reference to the stack, and that brings me to Shabs. Shabs, moving into the stack and impact layer. This is where the rubber meets the road, right? So, what does your Gen AI technology stack look like, and from models and orchestration to tooling?
Yeah, thanks, Prabhu. Gen tech stack is like a Formula One car, right? So the engine, the tires, the pit crew, all must be in sync. A typical Gen tech stack is layered to support development, deployment, and scaling up generative models. So I can actually break down the tech stack across 5 different layers. The first one is a data layer. This is foundational. Your Gen AI is only good as the data it's trained or fine-tuned on, like data sources, data management tools, or vector DBs, data lakes, and so on. And the next one is the foundation model layers. This is where actually the generative models live, right? Like your multimodal text, image, video, audio, etc. And the third one is the middleware or the orchestration layer. So this layer abstracts and manages communication with the models. Example, frameworks like LangChain, Llama Index, or routing and agentic systems like LangGraph, CrewAI, AutoGen, etc. And the fourth one is the application and the interface layer. So this is where user interacts with the GenAI apps, like your front end web app, mobile interface, chat interface, etc. And lastly, the infrastructure and development layer. For a model serving, scaling, monitoring, and DevOps are very important, like model deployment, interface optimization, monitoring and observability, or guardrails governance. So these are all very critical. So with that, I kind of have a framework for this Gen AI, right? When it comes to the tech stack, G for governance, E for engineering, N for needs alignment with the business goals, and A for access to the data, and I for iteration.
Very
So
interesting. Very
that's my
interesting.
input.
Okay, I mean that brings me to another point. How are you currently measuring this Gen AI success or the ROIs across the business functions?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Prabhu. So, see, if it does not save time or make money, it is just another cool POC or a demo, right? So, I see it ROI at two levels. So, one is a business level metrics where your cost reduction or revenue uplift or productivity gains and customer satisfaction are measured. So, say for example, your cost per ticket could be a $6 baseline, and after implementing Gen AI, it could have reduced to $2, right? Or your average time to handle a specific ticket could be 12 minutes, and after implementation it could have come down to 4 minutes. And similarly, the customer satisfaction has increased from 70% to 88%, right? And the second level of metric what I would check is the model level metrics for AI performance. So this is where the accuracy and relevance of the models are calculated. What's the hallucination rate, measuring with the human evaluations and tools like truthful QA, or the precision and recall for retrieval task, for a RAG based models. And the response quality, where the humans are scoring or putting a thumbs up or down. And lastly, the latency and availability, right? What is the time it is taking to generate the first token or the full response of it. That's how how we are measuring at the moment.
Fantastic. That was very, very comprehensive, Shabs. I think that's a kind of a right time for me to, bring in Om as a kind of a logical, way forward from what Shabs has said. Governance and responsible Gen AI adoption are fast becoming the board level priorities, and bringing that into focus. In your view, how prepared are CFO's office or the broader finance function to adopt this Gen AI, especially in terms of governance and risk management?
Hey there. Thanks, Prabhu. I think good morning, good afternoon to everyone. I think this is one of the topic very close to my heart, right? I would like to also pull up a slide to probably share with you. Hope it is visible, right? Okay, excellent. So I would be kind of bringing a real-time practical use case, which I have worked upon in my previous organizations under my role. So I'll basically Gen AI in the finance. It is how it's going to be called, right? So it's an exciting time to be in finance, because we are not just, finance is not just kind of crunching the number anymore. Finance evolving from the compliance-based driven back office function into a strategic powerhouse of insight and foresights. Today, CFO is no longer just a controller, which used to be in the past. They are becoming a digital steward of the organizations, driving a real-time visibility to shape the capital allocations, risk strategies. They are now at the heart of digital transformations. Thanks to the technologies like generative AI, finance is moving from predictive analytics, which tells us what might happen, to the prescriptive and generative insights that suggest what to do and even how to say it, right? If you look at the finance landscape is also evolving rapidly. We are facing an explosion of data, tighter regulatory mandates, rising pressure of real-time ESG and sustainability reporting as well. And yet, many finance teams are still stuck in the legacy processes, manual reconciliations, siloed systems, and month-end close chaos. This is a really fact. This is where the generative AI shines. Unlike the traditional automations, Gen AI can process the data in the context in a plain language across the fragmented source, deliver the insight that's are actionable and conversational, right? So this is how the things are evolving the finance landscape. If I look at the other section of the strategic opportunity for Gen AI in the finance, let's talk about where the generative AI creates most value in the finance. I think these are the four areas which I basically try to bring it up here. Narrative generation. AI can now draft the entire earning reports, board presentations, and the investment memos, saving hours of manual efforts. Obviously, the intelligent forecast. Generative AI also enables scenario planning on the fly. On the policies and the market shift, your plan can be recalibrated instantly. On the intelligent automation perspective, think reconciliations board, finance chat assistants, and the audit trail summarizer. I mean, a lot of my colleagues has spoken about it. regulatory and the risk as well. AI can summarize 100-page policy in a seconds and flag the anomaly proactively, right? So there are kind of tons of opportunities, I would say. I'll just move to the next slide.
Fantastic. I just have a quick question to you in terms of what are the capabilities or the core capabilities the finance and compliance teams have to start building to effectively collaborate with these Gen AI systems?
In my perspective, the prompt engineering, asking the right questions to get the right AI outputs. Data literacy is important, interpreting the model outputs, probability, and the risk as well. AI governance awareness, understanding the biasness, compliances, and explainability of the framework is important. I mean, there has to be a proper region how the things are happening. Ultimately, the finance professional must evolve a digital, fluent, and AI augmented leader. That's how I see it.
Fabulous, fabulous. That was like very, very insightful, Om. I mean,
Yeah.
in fact, the entire conversation. You wanted to add something more around?
Oh yeah, I think I'll just quickly, not sure, cover the last slide. I think.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
No worries. I think it just yeah. Okay. So basically, I would like to just share a kind of use case. We have worked upon the investor relationship and communications functions with the finance, very core and very prominent functions, right? You can see the entire architectures, high-level architectures, how it happens, right? You can see the tools and methods, governance frameworks are there, benefits are there, right? This is one of those. So let's zoom in on the powerful use case, investor communication analytics. I think we have done a lot of intelligent forecast. We have done on the other stuff, but this is one of the unique because this is a forefront of entire your communications where you really communicate your earnings to the investors and all that, right? Imagine this after earning calls, generative AI scrutinize the transcripts, social sentiments, analyst notes, and tells you how investor felt, what message resonates, and what your peers are doing. This is very, very important in terms of understanding the investors and your communications, right? It helps the CFO refine their message, tailor their response, and even prepare Q&A playbook based on the past analyst behavior and the industry trends. And most importantly, this isn't about replacing the human. It's about amplifying the communications with the data-backed narrative intelligence, right? So generative AI isn't just a tool for automation. I would say it's a strategic asset, a co-pilot that's helping the finance team lead with the clarity, agility, and credibility in a uncertain situations. As a leader in finance, our job is not just about adopt the technology, but also to guide them ethically, securely, with a purpose, right? So that's how I'm trying to depict on this use case, the overall perspective. Yeah.
Fantastic, Om. I think that is very, very comprehensive. I'm afraid that's what we have time for today. But I would like to say one thing here. Thank you for each one of you for such thoughtful and insightful contribution and inputs. Some of the quick takeaways that I could relate and what I could learn or understand from this conversation is frameworks are foundation. The talent is shifting fast, and organizations must prioritize them and train the in-house talent. Pilot to production is where most GenAI projects stall, and having the right operating model is key to unlock the value at scale. The tech stack matters. Aligning it with KPIs that drive business value is what is going to get things done on the ground. And finally, governance isn't optional, especially in regulated functions like finance, Om touched upon in detail. Preparedness and capability building are extremely essential. On behalf of 3AI and all of us here, a big thank you to you, Ramana, Kapil, Shabs, and Om for your sharing your excellent experience and congratulations and all the very best for all the front running that you're doing in this particular domain. Let's continue to shape the future where Gen AI is scalable, secure, and truly transformative. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of 3AI Spectra 2025.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.